دوستان عزیز، ما این دیولپر پنل رو دیدیم، در واقع دیپ دایو دیولپر رو دیدیم، اینو مشاهده کردیم، تو یوتیوب گذاشتیم و الان راجع به سیستم ها بیشتر دیپ دایو میکنن. اینم دیولپر پنل و دیپ دایو بیشتریه در رابطه با دیمن هانتر، تلنت های جدید، سیستم های توی بازی، بیشتر راجع به سیستم توی بازی، گیم پلی. با من همراه باشید، گوش بدیم بریم چی دارن میگن رفقای چیز. اگه برید تو کانال یوتیوب ما ریاکشن دیولپر پنل اولو گذاشتیم و اینم الان داریم میبینیم. یعنی شما میتونید برید تو کانال حاجی واروردین نگاه کن. این دیپ دایو کارگردان وارکرفت از نسخه میدنایت، این ورژن شماره 1 و الان ورژن شماره 2 که راجع به سیستم.
One thing we're not going to talk about a lot today is our housing system. We have a lot of information out about housing. It's been amazing seeing thousands of you check out the demo hands.
ببین نکنید بچه‌ها، من خودم میخوام یه ویدیو کامل طولانی راجع به هاوسینگ بذارم واسهتون. این کار حتما میکنم و ببین خود ایان هازکاست هم میگه انقدر اطلاعاتش زیاده ما الان نمیخوایم تو این صحبت کنیم، چون منم همینچنین. منم اگه دقت کنید خیلی راجع صحبت نمیکنم، چون برای صحبت کردن راجع به هاوسینگ باید بشینیم راجع یه ساعت حرف بزنیم. اینقدر خفنه. اوکی.
Over the last few days, we can't wait for everyone to get their hands on this later this year. And that's right, later this year. In our 11.2.7 patch.
پچ 11.2.7 پیاسی میاد. بچه‌ها تو توییچ یوتیوب هر کی صدای منو میشنوه یه قلب برام بزنید. اینم داره ریکورد میشه واسه بچه‌های یوتیوب. کامنت قلب، الان قلبا رو بزنید. من حتما به خاطر قلبای شما یه ویدیو در رابطه با پلی هاوسینگ کامل بررسی میکنم که مثلا کودتای ورلد آف وارکرفت پلی هاوسینگ.
At the end of War Within, the housing system is going to roll out. Anyone who owns Midnight at that point can claim their home and start decorating it. But everyone who is playing WoW, even if you don't own Midnight yet, can start collecting your decor and getting ready for the expansion ahead. Without further ado, let me hand it over to Paul to talk about the next few items.
All right, keep your eyes and ears peeled. We got a lot of new information coming out today. We're going to dive pretty deep into the systems and features, starting with this fella back behind me. That's right, the Devourer Demon Hunter.
Devourer Demon Hunter. ببین من یه لحظه اینو میخوام پاز بدم، یه چیزی بهتون میگم. ایلیدن وید فورم. ایلیدن استورم ریج اگه نمیدونستید، ایلیدن یه حالتهای وید فرم عجیب غریب هم از خودش نشون میداده. حالا شاید شما ندیده بودید. مثلا اینا کنه این دیمن ویدین ویدشه، یا توی یه سری از آرتاش حالت بنفش هم ازش داشتیم. مثلا این آرت رو میبینید و مثلا این عکس رو اگه دقت بکنید، حالا ما یه خورده وی پی ان مون مشکل داره متاسفانه، ولی این عکسی که این گوشه من حالا سعی کنم روش کلیک بکنم که امیدوارم پخش بکنه که نمیکنه، این عکس خیلی عکس مهمیه. خیلی دارم اینو بهتون نشون بدم. یه لحظه من وایسید، اینو من بذارم اینجا، خیلی چون دلم میخواد اینو ببینید برای کسایی که واسهتون سواله. الان بهتر شد. این عکس ایلیدنه که تو حالت ویده، خب، و این تو آرت اصلی بلیزارد هم هستن و خب و ببینید نکن دیمن هانترها میتونن پاور فل رو هارنس کنن، یعنی قبول بکنن بخورن برای جنگیدن با شیاطین، و مسلما هم میتونن الان قدرت فاکینگ وید رو هم هارنس کنن برای جنگیدن با وید.
You've seen Havoc, you've seen Vengeance. Now it's time to meet the new Demon Hunter spec that turns every fight into a highlight reel. The Devourer is our third Demon Hunter spec. It's a little bit different than our other two specializations. Previously, Demon Hunters only channeled fell energy to power their abilities, whereas the Devourer uses cosmic void powers to power their annihilation abilities. It's a ranged DPS spec, but not in the traditional sense. You're not going to be standing out at max range, casting spells the entire time. Depending on how you build your character, and we'll take a look at some talents.
هیبرید میلی رنج مثلا یه خورده از فاصله دور میزنه.
A little bit later, but depending on how you build it, you may be standing at mid range pretty consistently, or you may be darting in and out in sort of a hybrid build where you're spending some time in melee and then using vengeful retreat to jump back.
Let's
break down the toolkit a little bit. So first up, this is Void Metamorphosis. This is your iconic Demon Hunter transformation. But with a twist. This is not cooldown based, it's energy based.
Okay, cooldownی نداره که بزنی مثلا بره 3 دقیقه بعد دوباره بزنی. با انرژیه، یعنی همش میتونی بری تو حالتش به شرطی که کاسمیک وید جمع بکنی. اوه شیت چه جالب.
You have to use Reap, which is your giant kind of scythe attack to gather up any of the void fragments that you can't reach, or you can just sort of run around and pick them up as you're used to doing with souls. And once you've gathered enough, you can enter into meta. Now, once you're in meta, you want to stay in meta as long as possible. Void energy is a little bit different than Fel energy. It's slippery, it's elusive, it wants to get away from you and you need to devour it, you need to pull it.
میگه تو باید دیوار کنی، اسمش هم میشه دیوار کردن، مثل قدرت ویده، باید کنزوم کنی، بکشی بیرون و قدرت رو.
As much as you can. So you want to stay in this meta as long as possible, and the longer you do, the more damage you'll do as well. I'll share how in just a slide or two. In this shot, you will see Void Ray. This is the Void's interpretation of I-Beam. It's a 25-yard line attack with all sort of the trademarks of I-Beam, where you have the rotation, you can move around, just line up all your abilities and turn them into piles of ash. It's beautiful, it's purple. Important note, when you're in Devourer spec, everything is going to be purple. Our art team did just a killer job, as they always do, to take everything. You're not going to see any green at all. It's just going to be void, void, void. Really cool. Speaking of really cool, this is Collapsing Star. This is your big anime finisher.
Boom,
finish the way this ability works is you have to be in meta to cast it. So once you get into meta, then you have you unlock the ability to cast Collapsing Star. The more times you cast Collapsing Star in a meta, the stronger and stronger it gets. So like I said, you want to hold on to that metamorphosis as long as possible. It's got that big raid boss finale energy. Next up, let's talk about hero talents. The Demon Hunter is...
بله، هیرو تالنت انایلیتور رو گذاشتن که مسلما هاوک، آلراچی ریور و اسکارد رو میتونه بازی کنه و دیواورر میتونه انایلیتور و اسکارد رو بازی کنه و ونجنس انایلیتور و آلراکی ریور رو داره.
A new spec, and with that they get a new hero talent tree, and that is called the Annihilator tree. You can see it in the sort of the lower left-hand side there. This is shared between Devourer and Vengeance, and sort of broadly speaking, this is all about dropping meteors on your enemies. If you're
Annihilator تمرکز روی میتیوره، یعنی شهاب سنگه. بزنید تو سر تارگت.
Devourer, there will be big, bold void meteors. If you're in Vengeance, they will be Fel meteors, but meteors nevertheless. Devourer will also have access to the Scarred tree. No longer is it called the Fel Scarred tree. It's just simply
بهش دیگه فل اسکارد دیگه نمیشن، فقط دیگه اسمش شده اسکارد.
We are inclusive of all types of scarring here. As demon hunters, we know we are our scars. That's right.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Next up, Void Elf Demon Hunter. This is a new race class combination that is coming to World of Warcraft.
Void Elf Demon Hunter. It's crazy.
It's unlockable with a short quest line that's available during the
12
pre-launch. The Devourer spec will also be available during pre-launch as well. So
pre-launch Devourer.
If you're interested in messing around with Devourer, you can switch over as soon as we get to that pre-launch period before we take the fight to Xalatath at Silver Moon and in Eversong. And the same is true of Void Elf Demon Hunter. There'll be a very short quest line along with that pre-launch where you unlock this character. Now, for those of you who are Horde players in the audience, like myself,
مسلماً برای هورد پلیرها نژاد نایتبورن رو میذارن، ولی الان نذاشتن و میخوان بحث داستانی باشه.
may have noticed this introduces a little bit of an imbalance. The Void Elves
تو تعادل نداره دیگه. هوردا فقط بلاد الفا رو دارن که دیمون هانتر بسازه و گفتن سورپرایزتون میکنه.
are ready to jump into a particular new class.
میگه ولی باید داستانشو بگذره.
And this is particularly lore appropriate for what we're doing at this time. The World Soul Saga is not over yet. There will be new opportunities for other race class combinations that will make sense with the story.
میگه الان میگه ورلد سول ساگا تموم نشده، باید اجازه بدید که بهتون داستانو بگیم بعد بهتون اجازه بدیم.
We tell it. So keep your eyes peeled.
Okay. Sounds fair.
Next up, let's talk about talents. So as you play in Midnight, you're going to get new levels. No big surprise there. You'll level from 80 to 90. And you'll get 10 new talent points as well.
10 تا پوینت تالنت داریم. یعنی از اینه که مصرف میکنیم 10 تا جدید داریم.
The way those are going to break it down is you're going to get 3 points in your class tree.
3 تا برای کلاس خالی داریم.
3 in your hero tree.
3 تا برای هیرو تری داریم.
And then 4 in your spec tree. And you'll earn those.
4 تا برای اسپکتری داریم و یه لاین جدید هم برای هیرو تری داریم. یعنی در واقع نمیتونیم همه رو فکر کنم تا آخر بگیریم. این یک گزینه مهمه و یه لاین جدید اضافه کردن و 3 تا پوینت جدید هم اضافه کردن. این که پس کدوم مسیر رو میگیریم دیگه باز مهمتر از قبل میشه و گفتم که 4 تا هم برای اسپشیالایزیشن.
Sort of alternatingly. The way these work individually is on the class tree it's very simple. you just got 3 more points. You can
برای
use it
کلاسیک خب 3 تا اجازه بیشتر داری، یعنی باز قوی تر میشه.
however you want. If there's some ability in there that you wanted to get to, but you couldn't quite reach it, or you had to make a painful trade-off to get to that point, well, now you might be a little bit more likely to be able to get to that point, and you won't have to make that painful trade-off.
آره این اجازه میده که پلیرها بیلدای بهتری بسازن و فقط یه بیلد رو بازی نکنن.
Hero talent tree, there's an additional lane, so we're keeping all the same hero talents, but we're adding 3 new abilities in that 4th lane there. So it's going to take these already iconic and impactful powers and make them even more iconic and even more impactful. And lastly is on the spec tree, we earned 4 points here. I'll share how that goes in the next slide, but a couple clarifications first. What you see behind me is the example for the Devourer Demon Hunter. Everything I'm saying here is true for all 40 specs across the game, so the 334 applies to everybody. And the other clarification is you see 3 little dots over to the side of the tree there.
میگه این ستا رو میبینید جدید آوردن، به اینا میگن اپکس تالنت.
For those keen-eyed among you, that's just work in progress UI that our team's been using to be able to test.
نه اپکس تالنت نیست، اینا یو آی جدیده. اوکی.
Along the way, what you'd expect this to look like is a little bit more like this.
پس نه باز حرفم پس بگم همون حرفی که درست گفتم اپکس تالنت. اینا تالنت جدیده که تالنتش توش تالنت داره که گزینه اولیشو میگیری خیلی قویه و بعد البته میگم 4 تا حق انتخاب دارن دیگه، جدید دارن دیگه، 1 2 تا اینجا 4 تا. میتونی اپکس رو نگیری بری جای دیگه رو بگیری، دست خودته، دقت کن دست خودته. ولی این حالت یه چیز جدید یونیک اضافه کردن به اسپشیالایزیشن یا همون تخصصمون.
You'd have, imagine if you will, a big giant talent point that sits at the bottom of your spec tree with a couple little pips in the bottom of it, and you're able to put 4 points into that. Now, all 4 points should be really impactful, but particularly impactful will be the first one and the last one. So let's take a couple examples of how this will play out on the Evoke.
میگم مثلا رو اگزمپل ایووکر رو ببینید.
And also,
از ایووکر بعدم میاد دیمن هانتر و دیواور بگیرم. مثلا میگه یکیش اسمش از میدنایت، فکر کنم این تیک اولیشه. میگه کلپسینگ استار، همین فکر کنم میتیوری که میزنه always critical استراک، همیشه کریتو. اوکی. میدنایت بعدی اینو 2 از 2ش بکنیم، فکر کنم اینه. میگه که all cosmic damage 6% بیشتر میزنه، کلپسینگ استار دمیج که 100% of your critical strike chance. اوکی. بعد میگه وارد متامورفوسیس بشین باعث بشه که restore rob generate then lesson fragment and grant immediate آها میگه که مثلا بری توی حالت متامورفوسیس تمام سلول اطرافتو میخوره، یهو خودکار یه کلپسینگ استار تو سر تارگت میزنه.
On our favorite new spec, the Devourer Demon Hunter. So the first point is going to be a little bit more transformational. This will have a big effect on one of your abilities. In this case, for the Preservation Evoker, I know that text a little small, but it takes reversion and gives it a chance to be upgraded into a new ability called Marithra's Blessing. The next 2 points are just going to make numbers bigger. They're going to make whatever that first thing did, make it even better. And then that last point is the exclamation point that really brings it all home. They should all fit together into a cohesive package. They share the icon, they share the name, they share the fantasy.
آره پس یه فانتزی یه ابیلیتیه در واقع، یک چیز انگار کولداونمون رو قوی تر میکنه، اینجوری بهت بگم بیگ کولداونمون رو بیگ میکنه، فیلم سوپر میکنه.
One point to note is that you don't have to put all 4 points in this if you want to. It's not a separate tree.
ما میگه لازم نیست همش هم بگیری، دست خودتونه.
It's part of your spec tree, and so if you
میتونی مثلا این راسیو نگیری، چپیو بگیری، یا مثلا چپ و راستو نگیری، فقط 2 تا وسطو بگیری.
You want to just go more broad in your spec tree too, there will be opportunities for you to do that.
اصلا هیچ کدومو نگیری، یه دونه از این بگیری، بری 3 تا دیگر جای دیگه بگیری.
But I expect a lot of people are going to want to check out what's in their Apex talents because they are super duper cool. That's it for talents. Next I'm going to talk about a feature we've been working on and talking about a bit this week. It's called Prey. So Prey is a new opt-in hunting system that lets you pursue powerful targets across Azeroth and beyond Azeroth, places like the Void Storm, etc. It's built to slot right into how you already play. So whether you're a world quest enjoyer, if you're out gathering, you just like hanging out, Prey should have a good fit for you.
میگه بستگی به گیم پلی هم داره، مثلا تو داری گادرینگ میکنی، داری هرب ماین هم میکنی، رخ میتونه بده.
It's a little story balance, or a story background, I should say. This is a secretive initiative led by Astalor Bloodsworn. I don't know how many of you are lore nerds like myself out there, but if you remember Astalor, he's the magister who's responsible for, helping the Blood Elf Blood Knights get their paladin.
ایشون هم بلادلف اسونا رو باعث شد که پالادینای بلادلف ساخته بشن. اونایی که تی بی سی بازی کردن داستانشو میدونن.
powers by chaining up a Naru underneath
یه نارو رو زندانی کرده بودن، انرژی لایت ازش کشیده بودن بیرون.
Silver Moon City. He's not doing that anymore, but he's still sort of got a checkered past, and so he's going to be the person who is going to be leading us along this fight. You kick things off in Silver Moon City, in Murder Row. That's where your new hub is, and this is where you're going to choose who you're going to hunt. Now, how's that going to play out? Well, let's see an example. You might be out in the world fighting an unassuming pangolin, casting roll the bones like you do, when all of a sudden your target might show up behind you and cause you to turn around, blow all your cooldowns, make sure you survive. You might be mid-quest, you might be running between objectives, you could be minding your own business. But the point is, this is supposed to be unpredictable. It's supposed to keep you on your toes. This is sort of like a quest. It uses some tech that uses quests, but it's not meant to be like, search 8 footprints and then you found.
میگه فرض کن کوستی که تو به دنبالش نمیگردی و انگار یه قراردادی داری که شکار کنی ولی اون بهت حمله میکنه و وسط هر چیزی هم ممکن رخ بده و میگه کلا unexpected، یعنی مثلا غیر منتظره این اتفاق رخ میده.
We don't know how many things you have to do. You might be, finding clues like footprints on the ground. You might be.
شاید دنبال سرنخ باید بگردید، مثلا ببینید کجا فرار میکنه بیافتید دنبالش. تله بکارید. میگه ممکنه باید تله مله خونسا کنی.
But you never really know when these guys are going to show up.
اینا اوپن ورلد اکتیویتی دیگه که بلیزارد از دراگون فلایت به بعد تصمیم گرفته اوپن ورلد اکتیویتی هایی بیاره که دلوز نمونه سالارشه و اینم بگم این ایکوال با دلوز و روی والت هفتگیتون تاثیر میذاره پری و مسلما سه تا دیفیکالتی نورمال، هیرویک و نایتمر داره که نایتمرش توی والت هفتگی آیتم هیرو میده بهتون.
Now, if you are the type of player who likes to play with a little bit of a challenge, Prey has you in mind as well. See, there's 3
یعنی یه چالشیه انگار واسه خودتون همیشه ایجاد میکنید که کونتون وسط بازی بذارن.
3 difficulty levels. There's normal, and then there's hard, and then there's nightmare, and you're going to unlock this as you progress through the system. We all start at normal, but once you get to hard and nightmare, you're going to face a couple different things. First, you're going to see torments. These are additional abilities.
Okay, مثلا میگه توی نایتمرش تورمنت داره، مثل افکس میتیک پلاسه و سخت میکنه واسه
that these enemies will have, or just you might face as you're on the hunt for these guys. This particular character behind me is struggling to deal with sort of a fear-based torment, but there'll be a bunch of them. There's some fixate-based ones.
مثلا تورمنت این فیر بود.
As well, there's some really cool mechanics that'll make these fights a little bit more challenging. In addition, once you're in hard or nightmare difficulty, you are going to have that final fight. Once you've cornered your target and are ready to take them down, that will be a one-on-one fight.
توی هارد و نایتمر فاینال فایت 1v1 هم داره.
See, in normal, you're in the outdoor world. If there's other players nearby, they can help you out, just like any outdoor content. But in hard and nightmare, it's just one-on-one.
میگه تو نورمالش بقیه هم میتونن بهت کمک کنن ولی تو هارد هیرویکش اصلا اینجوری نیست.
The target, no distractions,
هارد در واقع
no escape. Let's talk about rewards. So there's a couple rewards
داره نمونه از ریواردار میگه که یکیش مانا ورم قدیمی خودمونه.
First, I want to talk about cosmetics. We got a bunch of custom cosmetics, including some really cool looking mounts, like some mana worm themed mounts. More than one of those. They're really awesome looking, as well as some transmog appearances as well. You will also be able to earn power from this. So this is hot off the presses. We've been talking with the team back in California or back in the States, everywhere. Blizzards all over the place.
And فقط کازمتیک نیست، قویتون هم میکنه.
This will give you power rewards. Prey will be tied into the outdoor row in the Great Vault, so you'll be able to get really cool gear from that by participating in Prey, up to and including in Hero tier. So this is
اینا رو چرا دارن انجام میدن که کسایی که دلوز هم دوست ندارن فقط کوست میزنن یا گادرینگ انجام میدن، پروفشن دارن، با یه چیز خیلی ساده تری بازم بتونن آیتم بگیرن. یعنی بلیزارد داره برای همه آیتم ها رو اکسسیبل میکنه که همه با هر نوع تایپ گیم پلی بتونن بگیرن، آیتم چیز عادی باشه توی بازی، سریعتر به اند گیم برسن.
It's going to give you new ways to play. Think about delves and how delves are able to give solo players some really cool opportunities to get awesome stuff. Prey is another way to do that too.
No.
All right, Prey is just one of the new things that are going to go into the outdoor world that we can play around with. There's other outdoor features that go into the game as well. When I say outdoor features, I'm talking about, the one-off things that happen in the game every once in a while, things like shipping and handling in Undermine where you're driving your car around, the soup event in Azure Span which we all
میگه مثلا داره ایونت های مثل سوپ و دیگه نمیدونم چیزا داره مثال میزنه ورد ایونت ها.
Remember so love and love so much, yes chef, etc. We made a bunch of these. I'm going to go through a couple of them. The priority here in the philosophy is we wanted to provide a variety of these different things. You know, they should not all feel the same. Some might be built for players who are more into kind of high intensity combat. Others for more just like crazy moments. Others for folks who are like to, you know, cozy content to learn more about the lore.
میگه ورد ایونت‌های جدید هم آوردیم ولی تایپ‌های مختلف داره دیگه.
etc. First up is Silver Moon Court. This is what you're going to see.
اینم فکر کنم که از ایونتاشه به اسم سیلور مون کورت اگه اشتباه نکنم.
In Eversong Woods, you'll balance your reputation between the 4 different military groups within Silver.
اوکی فکر کنم سیلور مون کورت شورای سیلور مون داره راجع به فکشن رپوتیشن ریناون صحبت
Will
می‌کنه.
balance your reputation between the 4 different military groups within Silver Moon City. It's meant to sort of evoke the feelings of the Burning Crusade reputations. You all
میگه
remember
مثل برنینگ کروسید رپوتیشن برنینگ کروسید که انتخاب میکنه که کدوم سمت بری.
the Aldor and Scryers from
میگه
that.
آلدور اسکرایز توی شاترا سیتی یادتونه من که یادمه اگزالتدشون هم هستم میگه انتخاب میکنه که کدوم ورشو بری و که کدوم سمتو بری مثل آلدور اسکریز.
Yes, I see some nodding of heads. Okay, yeah, so it'll feel a little bit like that, and each track has its own cosmetic rewards that come from it. In Zulaman, you will harvest materials for the Loa of Abundance. This is a
اوکی میگه متریال جمع میکنه تو becomes a reputation abundance.
fast-paced, super buffed collectathon. It's professional.
نه بخشید نه من ایونت یا ایونت یا ریناون متوجه نشم فکر کنم ایونت باشه.
Themed. You're going to go into caves. You're going to have sort of a
Near to
timed
Bara.
treasure room feel where you're going to mine as much as you can.
Okay,
You're going to gather as much as you
material
can.
jam
It's
می‌کنیم.
professions themed. It's not professions
اوکی
required. So
یعنی نیاز به پروفشن نداره ولی شغلیه انگار شغل انجام میدین متریال جمع میکنید.
can gather these materials. Although if you are a gatherer, you might find a couple additional bonuses.
میگه اگه گدرر باشی حاجی والا اینجا باید تو زیرش مسلمت کسایی که این ایونت انجام بدن گل بیشتری در میارن.
It's also I should point out that the Loa theming ties this one to
میگه این
Zulaman,
تم داستانش راجع به لوها هاست.
but Abundance Caves are actually present in all 4 of the Midnight Zones. These are really fun. Looking forward to playing these.
Abandoned Caves غارایی که کسی به واردش نشده.
Legends of the Harronier is an event that happens in
اینم
Harronier.
یه ایونت دیگه است به اسم Legends of the Harronier. پس اینا ریناون نبودن عذر میخوام.
And this is an event that invites players to step into the forgotten past of the Harati tribe using magical paintings to embark on bite-sized, lore-rich journeys. This is designed for those devoted lore seekers. You can kind of chase right through these things and you know complete the objectives as quickly as you want. But there's also lots of opportunities for you to slow down a little bit, read a little bit of text about the past of these folks, discover some lore objects, poke around, and learn some
کلی لور داره نقاشی‌ها که راجع به ابجکتیو و چیزای گذشته این هارانینا که کی بودن چی بودن چرا اومدن تو ریشه و این چیزا.
Really cool stuff. And lastly, in Void Storm, we have the Stormarian Assault. You're going to be protecting the Void Elves, who are going to play an important part in the story of Void Storm as they activate their singularity.
پس ببینید تایپ‌های مختلف یکیش مثلا کامبت توشه یکیش فانه یکیش کاسکلک یکیش ترانسپورت جابجاییه یکیش مثلا یعنی ایونت جهانیه.
Y'all know what a singularity anchor is, right? No, it's the thing that you use to purge the Stormarian citadel of remnant void anomalies. Well, anyhow, you're going to help them protect that thing. In sort of a wave defense, where it's an action-packed public event where your success is not only defined by how well you fight, but also how well your group places defenses to, you know, fend off.
همه با هم باید یه کاری بکنیم دفاع کنیم حمله میشه ما هم و هر چقدر بیشتر دفاع کنیم مثل اینکه
the endless oncoming waves that are going to attack that singularity anchor. Okay, switching things up a bit, let's move on to updated leveling experience. I got to imagine that a lot of you folks here
level up experience رو آپدیت کردن. این خیلی چیز مهمیه و من خیلی بابت این قضیه برای نیو پلیرها واقعا خوشحالم. اگزایل ریچ رو آپدیت کردن و داستانای شورت کردن خلاصه که الان میبینید گوش بدید.
Play World of Warcraft. A lot of folks watching at home probably do as well. But if you don't, pay attention. And if you do, maybe think about, you know, if there's been folks that you want to bring into World of Warcraft, but it's been tough. It's
میگه مثلا میخواین دوستاتونو بیارید توی وو ولی سخته. داستانا گیج شدن و گیم پلی بازیشون هم مشکل داره. مثلا برای مثال من این چیز بهتون میگم توی این نیو پلیر اکسپریانس جدیدشون یاد میدن چجوری اینتراپت کنید و چجوری داج بدید. عالیه حاجی. این چیزیه که من از وقتی تولید محتوا میکنم دلم میخواست بگه و از اون مهمتر به جان مادرم به نمیدونم به هر کی قسم بخورم باورتون میشه دیگه یادم نمیره دور حلقه‌های اوریبوس داشتم 5 سال پیش راه میرفتم به بچه‌ها گفتم آقا باید یه اکسپریانس جدید واسه پلیرهای بیارن که داستان رو بهشون سریعتر یاد بدن و اومدن از لور واکرچو که همین لور مستر هستش آوردن توی وو الان که داستانا رو به شکل سناریو میزنید میبینید اینو آوردن توی نیو پلیر اکسپریانس که پلیرها توی لول اپ تستش کنن و این عالیه و من الان خیلی خوشحالم که نیو پلیرها میتونن کلی اطلاعات داستانی و با گیم پلی درون بازی یاد بگیرن. احساس کاپیتان میگه من یادمه چون قدیمیه.
They need to get people into a game that's been around for 20 years and is so big and huge and monolithic. These are some updates for folks like that. So first we made some changes to our tutorial experience, Exile's Reach. This has been changed to be to focus players directly into the Dragonflight expansion. We're doing that by adding some key iconic characters to that feature. You're going to see Rathion there, you'll see Khadgar, Alexstrasza, a bunch of others as well. And the story is going to be about them going off and embarking on their mission to the Dragon Isles to learn about the history of the dragons.
پس اگزایل ریچ رو آپدیت کردن اتفاقا با اون اوگر موگرا دیگه نمی‌جنگیم. میگه که شخصیت جدید آوردیم که وقتش میکنه مستقیم داستان دراگون فلایت و داستان دراگون فلایت خلاصه میبینید و بعد داستان وارویدین هم خلاصه کردن که مردم سریع کچاپ برسن به میدنایت.
Will culminate with you being taken directly to Waking Shores to continue that story in the Dragonflight experience for new players. Now you'll still have Chromie time if you're playing an alt. You can go play whatever expansion you want, but for a new player, that sort of core progression will take you directly to Dragonflight. And we've made a bunch of changes to the Dragonflight expansion as well with new players in mind. So first you'll level through those first 4 zones, but then as opposed to before when you get to the end of Thaldrazzus and you're at the gates of the raid and you know that Razageth is gnarly and you want to take the fight to her, but you need a whole bunch of people to do that, instead of that, you're going to go straight to fighting Razageth. We've added a
رازاگث رو توی لول اپ گذاشتن به شکل استوری مود رازاگث رو شکست میدین توی لول اپ
story mode raid version of the Razageth fight. So you can as a solo player along with 9 game controlled allies
با AI
take down Razageth, see how that story resolves.
که
And
ببینید
then after
داستان چی
that, it
میشه.
keeps going. You get to keep going into Zeralek Caverns, play through that zone as a leveling player with the leveling appropriate rewards. And then
زارلک کاورن هم توی لول اپ آوردن پچ 10.1 و امیر راستی اینا رو آوردن توی لول اپ خلاصه و فشرده طراحی کردن کوستای مخصوص نیو پلیرها خیلی کار خفنیه
and you get to fight
آفرین.
against Sarkareth in another story mode raid. Y'all can probably see where this is going if you know the story of Dragonflight.
فقط برای نیو پلیر
Then you
هست.
continue into the Emerald Dream and then fight against Farak. We're super excited about this. This is the first time that new players have been able to play through the entire story of
و این خیلی خوبه که لول اپ داستانی آوردن پلیرها کچاپ میشن میان. حالا امیدوارم دراگون فلایت حالا من که بعدم میاد پاک بشه که مسلما به زودی بعد مثلا برسیم به لاست تایتن دراگون فلایت برمیدارن به جز نیو پلیر اکسپریانس وارویدین و میدنایت میکنن توش و این خیلی خوبه. یعنی کسی که مثلا لاست تایتن میخواد بازی کنه توی لول اپ خلاصه دوارویدین و میدنایت رو حل میکنه و میرسه لاست تایتن. عالیه خداییش. Big fucking W3 win.
expansion while they're leveling through the game. And doing that, this will take them to level 70. That's not quite 80. For 70 to 80 is going to be done doing something different, which I'll get to in just a sec. But first, has this ever been you? Maybe you're a returning player to the game, you haven't played in a little while, and you are greeted
میگه ریترنینگ پلیر داره کاسش خل میشه نمیدونه چیکار کنه تلنت و ابیلیتی
by the 3 horsemen of a quest log full of quests that you don't remember, a bag full of items that you don't remember ever gathering, and then a talent tree full of talents that you don't really know what those icons represent. You are not alone. This is the case for a lot of returning players. It can be tough to get back into your character after you've been away for a little while. And what we see for folks is after folks have been away, particularly for a long time, it's easier to roll a new character than it is to get back into your beloved favorite tune.
Okay.
And so that's okay, because we've got a stack of gear ready for you to claim as you step into our brand new returning player experience. This is, again, brand new, something we just added to the game.
اوکی پس یه دونه تجربه جدید ساختن. حالا این برای نیو پلیرها نیست، این برای ریترنینگ پلیرها، پلیرهایی که مثلا قبلا بودن توی بازی دراگون فلایر بودن، مثلا رفتن وسط وارویدین رفتن یا نیست. این یه تجربه جدید شورت آوردن برای ریترنینگ پلیرها که حالا سناریوی چیزی باید باشه که هم گیر بهتون میده هم کچاپ همه چی رو میکنه که اوکیتون کنه.
It is a feature where you will join alongside Thrall or Jaina as a returning player, and it's meant to remove all those distractions so you don't have to worry.
میگه اون حواس پرتی‌ها مثلا تلنت ها رو دیگه نمیدونم بگتون پر و اینا مثلا پشماتون داره میریزه اینا همه رو واسهتون فیکس میکنه.
Worry about what's in your bags and your talent tree. We're going to hide all your quests from you. It's really simple. It's just, hey, go kill some gnolls. It's very simple. You don't have to worry about all the other direct things pulling you in different directions. Just go kill some gnolls. And then after that, the story will develop. Maybe you go kill some ogres. Maybe you go kill some cultists. There will be some...
این یه چیز جدید فقط برای ریترنینگ پلیراست. کسایی که خیلی مدت نبودن و اومدن برگشتن پشماشون میریزه با چیزای جدید و برای اینکه پشماشون نریزه بدونن چی کار باید بکنن این سازماندهیشون میکنه.
Yeah, it's some story that progresses along, but the point is once you get in you should remember, oh yeah, this is how my character plays, and by the time you're done you should have your bearings.
گیم پلی رو بهتون یادآوری میکنه.
It's drop in and drop out. So after 2 minutes if you're like, oh yeah, I remember how to play paladin. This is easy. Then you can just drop right out. If you play all the way through, you'll get a full set of gear that's level appropriate to whatever level you stepped in this place at, so you'll be ready to just jump right into the fight. And we've also added some improvements to the tutorials as well. So first we've added a skywriting tutorial, which will make it...
میگم آموزش skywriting گذاشتیم توتوریالش تو
level up. If
you
never learned how to play skywriting or to do skywriting, dragon riding as it was called back in the Dragonflight expansion, you'll learn how to do that. And it'll add a tutorial to learn how to interrupt. So if you've ever been in a group with folks who don't seem to know how to interrupt, the returning player experience will get you covered there as well.
چون UI بازی عوض کردن، نیم پلیت بازی بچه‌ها عوض کردن اگه نمیدونستید.
And lastly, we have the War Within recap. This is a feature we've added that in case you've missed the War Within expansion, or if just parts of the story, maybe it's just been a little while since you played the War Within, no worries, we've got you covered there as well. So this is a quick, couple hours long experience which will take you through the entirety of the...
یه اکسپریانس برای ریترن پلیر آوردیم که وارویدین رو سریع تو چند ساعت کل داستان رو براشون ریکپ میکنه. عالیه، خیلی چیزای خوبیه، جدید هم بهتون میگم.
The story of the...
آقا این چیزا خدایش وینه یا لوزه؟ تو چت بزنید. وین یعنی چیز خوبیه، لوز یعنی خب بده.
War Within starts at the Isle of Dorn, to the Ringing Deeps, all the way through Koresh, and you'll get to see all the big cinematics. You'll get to see what happens with all the characters. It would normally take a couple dozen hours to play through all these quests, but this will just take a much quicker time. Anybody can play this. If you want to do this right before you go into midnight to bring yourself current, that's great. If you don't want to, that's fine. Everybody gets that. We got to fight Xalatath anyways. And if you're a new player, this is how you will level from 70 to 80. Instead of having to, it'll be really quick. It'll be just like play through this, again, a couple hours long experience, and you'll be able to hop right into midnight once you're ready. A new update I wanted to share with y'all about the new player experience, all these things that we're talking about, new player experience, returning player experience, and the War Within recap. These are going to be available in the final patch of the War Within, 11.2.7. So a little bit earlier, folks wanted to start getting warmed up. If you are thinking about that friend that you wanted to invite in, maybe they can get in a little bit earlier, start collecting some housing decor, and level a new character. Okay, that does it for me. Next, I'm going to hand things over to Ian, who's going to talk to you about a couple other features, starting with PvP. Ian, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Paul.
Okay.
Hello again. So yes, PvP. A major new PvP feature coming in Midnight is the Slayer's Rise Battleground. This battleground is set in the Voidstorm, and it is a 40v40 epic battleground inspired by Alterac Valley, Isle of Conquest, and that general large-scale vibe. Here's a look at the overall layout of the map and how it's going to work. So the setting for this map is a conflict between these two powerful warlords in the Voidstorm.
آره به اینا میگن دامینار. یادتون باشه صحبت داستانی بعدا راجع می‌کنیم. اینا وارلوردهای ویدن، بهشون میگن دامینار.
That are fighting for control and alliance forces find themselves thrust into the middle of the conflict. Each ally is one of the opposing Dominar. You're going to start on opposing sides of the map, initially run to the middle for a wild 40v40 brawl over an initial control point that will give you an early advantage in the map. We know people are going to fight it out anyway, so let's encourage it and build that into the flow. From there, It breaks down into each side trying to push down a lane towards the opposing
روگ مستر فکر کنم تو خیلی خوش بگذره
base, destroying their defenses, killing key NPCs along the way, and
این باید زودتر هر کی سریعتر فکر کنم چیزو رو بگیره اون چیزو جنگ بین اینا رو ببره و ما باید جای در واقع اونجا ما کنترل کنیم و اینجا سرم با هم دیگه می‌جنگیم.
ultimately trying to defeat the opposing Dominar. But you'll be breaking off as well to recruit neutral forces to aid your side.
ریکروت هم میکنیم آدم نیوترال فورسز مثلا میگه ما این از آلتراک ولی یاد گرفتیم که مثلا باف میدادن تاور میگرفتی باف میدن قویت میکردن
To help push that lane. So every side is going to be doing a mix of attacking, defending, and recruiting forces to help lead their side to victory. Super excited to have a new battleground coming in Midnight. And also, this area that's used as a battleground will be accessible in the outdoor part of the Voidstorm zone.
اوکی میگه اوشن مپ پی وی پی یس میگه اینو یه قسمتی از وید استورم کردیم که مخصوص پی وی پیه.
And this is going to be a place for those of you who love World PvP
World
to
PvP
come
سنگین
battle it out with
میگه توی وید استورم ورد پی وی پی سنگین گذاشتیم توش. اوکی.
each other. This area is really designed with interesting points of conflict in mind. There's other, this is where you'll find your PvP vendors and more.
PvP
This
vendor
area does have regular world quests for those who don't have war mode on. But really, you're going to want to
مثلا اینجا کمپ هورد کمپ آلاینس
turn on war mode to get the most out of this experience.
میگه با
If you like
وارمود
World PvP,
میگه وارمودتون آن باشه چیزای دیگه رو میبینید.
this is the place to be. You can find
میگه اینجا دوالینگه اینجا مثلا نمیشه نچرال پی وی پی هاف اینجا تو سر هم دیگه میزنید مستر سرفس دوالینگ ارا اینجا فقط میزنید تو سر هم پی وی پی وندرز اینجا پورتال داره به جای دیگه پی وی پی
your people and battle it out.
پس اینجا مپ پی وی پی داره.
Now, when
آفرین
you think about
خیلی کار خوبی کرد که بلیزارد لایه پی وی پی رو قدرتمند کرد. پلیرها باید لذت ببرن از پی وی پی.
PvP in World of Warcraft, we've heard feedback from our PvP community over the years that they'd love to see, more support. PvP is amazing, it's deep, it's endlessly replayable. But the reality is, it can also be really hard to approach 20 years into the game's history. There's so much to learn, people are so good at it, and oftentimes people check out PvP and feel like, okay, I just got destroyed, I don't know that this is for me, even if they do enjoy PvP in other games.
میگه بعضیا مثلا میان تو پی وی پی گیم های دیگه لذت میبرن و میان وو بازی میکنن 20 سال گیمه و خیلی ها توش خوبن و اینا میان تو پی وی پی نابود میشن و میگن اوکی با اینکه لذت بردم ولی به درد من نمیخوره.
Other games of different genres have a mode where you can initially kind of learn the maps.
میگه مثلا گیم های دیگه ژانرهای دیگه یه سری مپ داره مود داره که آشناتون میکنه با پی وی پی. میگه ما اینو آوردیم توی بازی توتوریال پی وی پی آوردن.
Learn the rules, learn combat against bots. And that's an easy on-ramp to kind of build your confidence to make sure that you know what you're doing before you match
مثلا دو تا دو داره
against other players. And so that's what training grounds are coming
به اسم training ground
in Midnight. And this is inspired by a battleground brawl that we've had running for a while called Comp Stomp. This is kind of expanded and revamped. In addition to Arathi Basin, you'll also be able to play on Silver Shard Mines and the Battle for Gilneas, facing off against AI opponents that are a bit smarter than the bots that we've had in the past. That are, going to test your skills a bit, teach you how the battlegrounds work, teach you how opposing classes work, and kind of give you an on-ramp into PvP from there. Super excited to roll this out in Midnight and hopefully introduce a new generation of players to the fun that World of Warcraft PvP can offer.
Okay. Quality life.
I want to talk about some UI and general quality of life improvements. So over the last few months we've been doing a lot of
بله واقعا آجی چیزای جدید میخوان بزنن. من خیلی خوشحالم مخصوصا برای این ادانزا که دارن پاک میشن.
work in War Within to improve the baseline
نگاه کنید دیگه اینا جدیده.
Game enhancement.
کولداون منیجر رو نگاه کنید ببینید یه قسمت جدید اومده به اسم Game enhancement.
And more. That's going to continue in Midnight and beyond.
هولی شت این فکر کنم نمونه از نیم پلیت باشه اگه اشتباه نکنم. نمیدونم حالا خودشه یا ادانزه. اگه خودشه چقدر قشنگه. هم اچ پی هم تارگتی کاستی که داره میکنه و هم ابیلیتیش که نکن اینقدر دیگه مونده تا کاستش تموم بشه.
One area that we want to focus on is our nameplates. We understand that when
یا فکر کنم مثلا داره مثلا یا اینه یا این جدید است. نمیدونم متوجه نشدم ولی اگه دقت بکنید اگه این باشه داره پلیر بافو نشون میده شرت سی سی که مثلا سی سیش کردن ماب باف اوکی
During the heat of combat, this is the best window into what's going on, the status of your enemies, and what you need to respond to. And our default nameplates currently don't give you all the information you might want. We really want to improve your ability to see and customize buff and debuff display on nameplates. We also want to be able to call out important lethal casts. That's something that we're going to...
Oh shit, nameplate ها کال میکنه که ابیلیتی سنگینی که میخواد بزنه و که باید اینتراپت بشه داد میزنه مثلا اینتراپت. Oh shit بلیزارد big fucking win man. بالاخره میثاق میتونه اینتراپت بکنه. کایده شدیم حاجی.
Build in on the encounter design side. If there's a cast that probably is going to wipe you if it gets off, that should be a larger highlighted cast bar so you know it's a high priority interrupt. You shouldn't need an add-on or an external guide to tell you that. The game should be doing it itself, and we're really excited to add this functionality to our nameplates. Next up, damage meters. We are adding damage meters to the base UI experience. Again, this is probably the single most popular add-on used by players across all of World of Warcraft. And you shouldn't need to feel like if you want to understand whether your talent build that you just tried out is more effective than the one you were using yesterday, you shouldn't need an external tool for that. The game should give you that information. So featured damage meters. These are also going to be like sort of server-side authoritative. So compared to add-ons where maybe someone is out of range or in a different phase and you lose track of the information about what they're doing, here we're going to keep track of it on our end, and so they should always be perfectly accurate.
میگه که میگه ادانز از رنج خارج بشید یا ممکنه برای که باگ بزنه درست نشون نده تو اون فایت نباشی نشون نده از رنج میگه این با سرور دیتای بازیه اکورت واقعیه
Next up, this is a fun one. How many of you use DBM or bigwigs?
میگه چند DBM هم استفاده میکنن.
Basically since the beginning of raiding 20 years ago plus.
UI فکر کنم رید هم عوض کردن حالا الان شاید نشون ندن ولی رید هم عوض کردن.
People have relied on add-ons to let them know when a major boss ability is coming up. That's just how WoW raiding has been for nearly everyone who raids.
بله.
And yet again you've had to turn to external tools to do that and we feel that's not the experience that our players deserve.
میگه ما احساس کردیم این درست نیست.
So we are building in a lot of that functionality into our encounters in
خودمون توی اینکاونترامون اینا رو طراحی دیگه کردیم.
So you can see a timeline of major critical abilities that are coming up and alerts if you're targeted by
timeline و alert و اینا رو اضافه کردیم.
Things along those lines to give you the information you need to overcome the challenges that are facing you.
بله.
Those are just a few of the user interface improvements.
این تازه تعدادی ازشه بازم هست.
They're coming in midnight. There are going to be many more at launch and to follow. This is a project that has a long future ahead of it. We really want to make sure that our base user experience is the very best that it can be.
ما می‌خوایم کار بکنیم base user experienceمون best باشه دیگه.
Transmog. Really, transmog, as everyone as true WoW aficionados know, is the real endgame of World of Warcraft.
میگه endgame واقعی WoW transmog.
Sure, we are supporting it as best we can. So, nearly 15 years after the introduction of transmog, we have coming up an overhaul to how the system works. No longer will you have to go reapply the appearance of your choice every time you get a new.
لازم نیست هر بار که آیتم خریدی بری اپلای کنی ترانسموگش عوض کنی. میگه نکن ترانسموگ رو اسلات میزنی دیگه رو آیتم نمیزنی مثلا رو سر میزنی دیگه رو آیتم دیگه نمیزنی مهم نیست آیتم چیه.
You get a quest reward or a raid drop or whatever else. Instead of transmogging items, you will now transmog the slot.
Okay.
So if you have something set as your helm appearance and you get a new helm, it's just going to inherit the look that you want it to have. You'll still pay a gold cost to set that like head slot or back slot appearance, but as you just get new items, you can just put those on, there's no additional cost, and that'll just be the appearance that you have. But this also gives us the opportunity to add more opportunities for customization and self-expression in the transmog system. Because not only can you save one outfit, you'll be able to unlock and save many outfits. And then, if you want, you can tie those outfits to
مثلا لوکیشن بذاری نکن مثلا تو هاوس این باشه
specific situations. So
Equipment
if you want
sense,
one outfit
specialization.
that enables when you go into town, or when you go into your home, or
یا
when
موقعی
you
که
go
داری شغل میکنی
to a dungeon, or when you change your specialization, you can map those things to each other, and it'll just
مثلا افلکشن یه جوری باشه دیستراکشن یه جوری باشه تانک یه جوری باشه
automatically happen.
خودش
So we're
خودکار
very excited for kind of the depth of customization this is going to bring. And as with many of our systems, this is just kind of the beginning. This is Transmog 2.0, but we're going to continue to build on this foundation in the months and years ahead. So, thank you for coming out. Speaking of the months and years ahead, really, it's so exciting to be here this week, finally pulling back the curtain, revealing what the team has been hard at work on in making World of Warcraft Midnight. But this is just the beginning. We're going to head back to California, and in just a few weeks,
تازه برسیم کالیفرنیا یعنی آمریکا مقر بلیزارد میگه تازه اونجا شروع میکنیم
we're going to have our alpha test beginning. So stay tuned for that with beta to follow. We have so much more to share with you. It's going to be a very exciting fall. We can't wait to see you all in Midnight in early 2026.
early 2026 گفتم که حاجی وارلاک بهتون گفت 8 ماه دیگه میاد
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of Gamescom.
اسفند 1404 فاکینگ میدنایت رو بازی کنید. حاجی وارلاک هستم دوستان عزیز. ولی عجب دیتای خفنی داده. چقدر بلیزارد حاجی کارش بیست. خداییش من یه سوال پرسم همه سریع جواب بدید. هر کی صدای من میشنوه تمام این چیزایی که دیدید و تمام این چیزایی هم که ما بررسی کردیم تو چنل حاجی وارلاک اون دیپ دایو قبلی، حاجی از 1 تا 10 چه عددی بهش میدید؟ به نظر من 10. به نظر من بلیزارد خیلی قدم‌های خوبی رو انجام داده. به نظر من خیلی وضعیتش خوبه. من 10 میدم. شما حالا عددتون رو واسه من بنویسید. دوست دارم بخونم. بله.